Okay, you guys, I'm back. I don't know what happened. I literally don't know what happened. My screen just froze up. My screen froze up, you guys. I'll wait for people to come in. I don't know if people are going to come in. I'm not in that room anymore. Oh, you guys. Technology. Okay, I see one person came in. I don't know what happened. My screen froze up. It literally froze up on the other end. I don't know. And I don't know if it's because I'm on the computer too. I don't know. We'll see if this works. If this does not work, then we will figure it out, and I will just come back on Sunday if it does not, if it keeps glitching, right? I don't know what happened. The whole screen froze up. I don't know. We'll see. Y'all tell me if it like freezes up again. Y'all, technology, I tell you. I should just go live on Sundays, right? Instead of trying to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is me trying to do too much, honestly. But it's just like me, doing too much. But we'll see. Hopefully it does not freeze up. If you can see me, if you can hear me, thumbs up if I am not like glitching and doing the robot and all that. Okay, I see a thumbs up. So I hope that thumbs up means yes, you can see and hear me. I guess I'm going to jump back in. I don't know what happened. I lost everybody on the left. I just started, I guess my screen froze up. Thank you. Yes, you can see me. Okay, and hear me. I don't know. Technology is crazy. So, you guys, I hope, okay, I see all the thumbs up. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Let's jump in again. Let me do an introduction again because this is a whole new video real quick. So people watching it, the replay, are not completely confused on what I'm talking about. So I am Ashley Pickens here in Memphis, Tennessee. You guys, I've been in real estate since 2006. I've been in real estate since 2006 as a real estate agent, as a real estate broker, and I am an auctioneer. I'm a foreclosure auctioneer. So if you are here, tell me where you are from. I don't make you talk in the chat, but I of course like to know where you are from, so I can just see who's on here. I feel like I need to do the whole spill again. I was on another video, another live. It froze up, and of course, D, I know you're welcome, 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 welcome. The other one froze up, so I got out of that one and I came back. I came in this one. So let me kind of do a recap of what I talked about. Again, I'm an auctioneer. I auction off properties at the courthouse. I do trustee sales, right? That is what I do. I'm literally on the courthouse steps. People always ask, are you really Silicon Valley? I see you, California. People always ask, am I really on the courthouse steps? You guys, I'm legit on the courthouse steps. Legit. That's why I always tell people, I see you, South Carolina. Just to like go to the auction. You can walk up clearly, like especially if it's at the courthouse. Even if it's not, hey Eric, even if it's not at the courthouse, and if it's like auction.com or Realty Track or Hubzoo, you can still go, you guys. Like, you can still go. Even if you don't have any intention on bidding, still go to the auction just so you can see what it's like. Miami, yay, Miami. So it's a guy who's going to be in the mentorship who is in Miami. I was like, you're going to find my retirement house for me. But yeah, absolutely, go to the courthouse. I'm an auctioneer. I auction in Memphis, surrounding areas, Mississippi, Nashville. I hold down this little southern region right here. So we can talk about that. If you have questions from NYC, yay, welcome. So we got the East Coast, the West Coast, the South. We're representing. I appreciate it. So if you got questions, absolutely ask me. I know a lot of people have questions about the auctions, and I can talk about that all day. But I wanted to, because I think most people missed, I wanted to start off with a news article really quickly that I don't know if y'all heard about. I'm not gonna talk to you all night tonight. I promise I won't. But I feel like I want to start sharing like information, like something that's going on currently in the market that maybe you didn't hear about, and then we'll jump into like auctions and if you have questions and stuff like that. So, 2 articles. Let me do a quick paraphrase of them. So, Mr. Cooper, because y'all know, if y'all heard about Mr. Cooper and they got hacked like a month ago. And so Mr. Cooper's a big mortgage servicer, right? Anyway, I don't know if y'all heard that I read the Consumer Finance, that these Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, these are the people who go after like mortgage companies when they do bad and find them and investigate them. Did y'all hear about the investigation where, okay, ACI Worldwide, right? I guess they helped Mr. Cooper's service, got fined for improperly initiating approximately $2.3 billion in unlawful mortgage payment transactions, you guys. They were testing their payment processor, and instead of testing it with dummy accounts and testing it with like fake account numbers and bank account numbers, they used real clients, you guys. They used real homeowners, right? So when they tested it, they accidentally drafted people's bank accounts, right? You guys, drafted, it says approximately $2.3 billion in electronic mortgage payment transactions from homeowners' accounts. So it says more than 60,000 accounts experienced more than 330 million in combined unlawful debts that morning. 7,300 people had their available balances reduced by more than $10,000 overnight. Y'all, they drafted these people's bank accounts. They initiated approximately 1.4 million withdrawals on behalf of Mr. Cooper from homeowners' accounts without authorization. And so now they're getting fined. Boom. There's another article I'll read, but I'll read it tomorrow night. That banks, I'll read it tomorrow, but I want to basically say banks, they got in trouble for offering kickbacks, which mortgage companies do. When they were filling out the applications, if people did not put their ethnicity, they marked it for them. And they only marked it one particular ethnicity, right? And they found out about it, and now they're in trouble. But anyway, that makes you think, right? Joblessness is rising from the Fed, continues unemployment claims. You know how I feel about unemployment. You know how I feel about the numbers. Mike, you know how I feel about that. You know, they're saying unemployment, they're saying they're getting rid of one full-time job and making 2 part-time jobs. That is like, when you look at these numbers, you know, they always give you like the best point of view, right? They spin it for the best. Like, mortgage rates plunged. Mortgage rates have not plunged, you guys. Mortgage applications are up. Yeah, because they're like HELOC mortgages. Their refinance mortgages are up. It's not like people are buying houses. People are trying to cash out their equity to have money. But on the news, they don't say that. It's just like mortgage applications are up. You know, you have to be very mindful when you see numbers like unemployment and all that kind of stuff. Because, you guys, us down here in reality recognize that most people are struggling, right? These jobs where it's like people have jobs, people have like 2 and 3 jobs, like 2 and 3 part-time jobs, right? That doesn't count. I mean, it counts, but they're not making like these management and upper level positions. That's not what they're creating. They're creating like seasonal jobs. We talked about this. Seasonal, part-time jobs, right? Not good jobs that people can sustain their household. So this is long-term unemployment claims, no part-time jobs. I feel like it's going to get worse. It will get worse next year, you guys. I watch daily job cuts. I don't know if y'all go to that website, dailyjobcuts.com. Start watching that site. I have it bookmarked. I check it out every day. And they list all the companies that are laying off. Like Amazon laying off. Like there's a branch in Wells Fargo. It lists all the companies that are laying off and filing bankruptcy. So, dailyjobcuts.com. check them out. Okay, so I said tonight we were going to talk about auctions, right? Because I feel like a lot of people have questions about how the auction works. Due diligence, when I always say you've got to do your due diligence, it's a lot of questions around that. So first of all, if you have any particular question, throw it in the chat, right? And I will try to answer your question when it comes to auctions. I always say, you guys, the auction is kind of high risk. I would say that. I would say it's more riskier than most real estate investment channels, right? You could buy off the MLS, right? And you can get an inspection, do all that kind of stuff, negotiate. I think most people just buy off the MLS, right? Stuff like that. But when you talk about the auction, it is definitely a lot more high risk than other real estate. I am in Memphis. Y'all, I'm in Memphis. I'm in Tennessee. But you can still ask me questions if you have auction questions. But the auction is definitely more high risk because, like I always tell you guys, you can't see the inside of these properties. You are essentially bidding blind on properties, right? They can also have title issues. That's the huge. Most people, I think most investors have no problem buying a property that they can't see the inside of. I always poll like Facebook and Instagram, and I'm like, would you buy a property that you can't see the inside of? And most real estate investors are like, yeah, if it's the right price, right? If it's the right price, no worries. But I think most people, when it comes to the auction, their biggest hurdle is title searches. Title searches. Yeah, that's why you've got to do your due diligence, right? When it comes to buying at the auction. Because you could have squatters. You have to see if it's vacant or occupied. Keep in mind, at the auction properties are basically pre-foreclosures, right? Like, these people are behind on their mortgage. They've gotten a letter from the bank or the bank's attorneys and are saying, you have 30 days to pay your mortgage or we're putting your house up for auction. So a lot of times people still live there, right? They're still in their house thinking they can catch up on their mortgage. Well, Riverside County is not until February and San Bernardino County auction in March. What can we do in the meantime? Do your due diligence, like prepare. We'll talk about this. I also have an auction accelerator course. I'll put it in the link below where I teach you exactly how to find them. Do your due diligence. Look at the title. You've got to look at the title. You've got to look at the title. What I said yesterday, I don't care if they're giving houses away 4 for $4, 4 for $4. Buy one, get one free. It doesn't matter. You've got to look at the title, okay? So yeah, okay, yeah, let's talk about it. So when it comes to buying properties at the auction, again, these are homeowners who are essentially behind on their mortgage, and the attorney says, hey, you have until this day to pay your whole amount, your whole past due amount, or we're putting your house up for auction, right? So a lot of times people still live there, okay? And their house will go up for auction. So that's up to you. If you are bidding on their property, you need to drive by, see if somebody still lives in that property, right? Because if they do, you will be responsible for evicting them. Once you buy that property, that evicting them is your responsibility. And that's something I teach in the auction accelerator course, is you have to, the methods to evict people. Like, it could be cash for keys. I give you example of letters that you send them. One of my guys who is in the mentorship, he's in New York, and he just bought a property at auction, and people still live in there. Like, the homeowners still live in there. So, we crafted a letter so he could send the letter to them, because again, you guys, they're in your house, so you don't want them to like tear it up, right? What about dealing with wholesalers? We were thinking about wholesaling. Thinking about working with them to buy a property from a wholesaler. I think that's what you're asking me. I feel like if the numbers are right, you can absolutely, but you still got to do your due diligence on all wholesalers say, do your due diligence, right? Make sure you do that. But at the auction, you guys, yes, people can still live in there, but there are methods that you want to try first before, and hopefully you don't have to go to court, right? But you have to, you need to know that before you bid on that house, right? Because you bid on a property and thinking that those are yours. You do not get keys at the auction. You do not get deeds at the auction. Deeds come in the mail. Okay, it doesn't matter where you bid, at the courthouse, auction.com, they all come in the mail, right? And a lot of times they say don't go to that house until you get your deed in hand. Okay, again, because people might live there. So keep in mind, if people live there, you will be responsible for the eviction process. But hopefully, like my mentee in New York, you know, you lead, I tell them, lead with love, right? You let them know, like, that you have purchased their house and you're willing to work with them on their timeline to be out of the property, right? That's, you go that route. And then if that doesn't work, then, you know, you can offer cash for keys. And maybe that will motivate them to get out of the house. And then if that don't work, then you might gotta go to court, right? What about dealing with, okay, I'm with you there. Me and my husband want to wholesale a few properties before they go to auction so we can complete companies because their house called black. Yes, that's exactly. It's kind of what I teach in my mentorship. I will say that. It is where or you can get, like, what I market. I send letters. I have other marketing strategies. I don't door knock. I don't cold call. But I have dealt with home buyers who are in foreclosure who at this point were like, I can't keep my house. It's going up for auction. I want to sell it. And I've helped plenty of people sell their home so it doesn't go up for auction. And, you know, and kind of with me, it's like, I'm going to sell it either way. I hate to say that, but it's like here, especially here, it's like, let me help you sell it, make you some money, help your credit get back on the right track instead of me sell it at the courthouse and you might not get anything and you have a foreclosure on your credit. Right? So yeah, that's exactly, yeah. I'm reading and talking. Title search should include what items? Legal description, parcel tax on property owners, federal tax and state tax liens, from what sources can, yeah. So when you do a title search, the main things you are looking for, right? Okay. Gosh. I'm saying gosh because that can be so, I just don't want to complicate things. But you're definitely, if you don't look at anything else, you need to make sure you buy the right lien, right? You want to make sure on that notice of sale, the public notice that they post, it's usually an instrument number on there, okay? You guys, I do not want to confuse anybody. If you start getting confused, just be like, I'm confused. I'm not going to listen to Ashley. The instrument number on the notice of sale, the public notice, instrument number, it should match when you look on the county records and deeds site, right? And that will tell you what loan is being auctioned. I teach all of this in my course. I literally teach all of this. And I walk you through step by step and show you exactly what to look for. And you need to look and see if other liens have been released, right? That's what you're looking for because you don't want to buy a second mortgage. You can buy a second mortgage at the auction and then you won't be able to do anything with that property. So what I'm saying is the instrument number on the public notice and it should match the county records and deeds. The loan number should match when you look at both. So it'll correspond. They will correspond with each other. And so you'll know which loan is being auctioned off, if that makes sense to you. And you can kind of follow the trail. I'm gonna confuse y'all. You'll need to look at title. But yes, I'm with you, YC. Title, yeah. Legal description, parcel. Look at the owners, right? Because if it's sometimes you can get caught up in, not necessarily, but I will look at ownership. On that notice of sale or the public notice, it'll have the owner's name on it, right? And if it's like an affidavit of heirship, you can see if other owners have jumped in to, take ownership of the property, right? You can do that. Auction accelerator course walk you through. Yeah. Thank you, D. Yeah, I literally walk you through all of that. No matter where you live. People always ask that. No matter where you live. Yeah, sometimes the owners be different. I was looking at a property and wasn't updated with it. Right. And sometimes it can be an old lien and they are coming back. That's the thing. You got to make sure the lien you're buying is priority because and I explained this kind of last night, and I try to explain it where it makes sense. At the auction, right? I'm not saying anybody can foreclose, but almost anybody can foreclose. It could be your primary mortgage. If you get behind, the foreclosure auction is just so whoever you owe, that debtor, can get paid, right? So it could be your primary mortgage. You stop paying that, goes into foreclosure, they want to get paid. If you have a HELOC, right, a home equity line of credit, you stop paying that, they want to foreclose on you to collect their money, right? I've been at the auction, I've seen Chase credit card, right? Somebody did not pay their Chase credit card. Chase put a lien on their house, and then Chase foreclosed on that lien at an auction. So, and you don't ever want to buy a Chase credit card lien at the auction, right? If that goes up for sale, that's not what you're trying to buy, right? So my point is, liens are just, when liens go up for auction, it's just people trying to collect. You need to make sure whatever you bid on gives you ownership to the property. Boom. That's what I'm trying to say. I hope that makes sense. So that's why it's so important to do a title search, because you don't know whose lien you're bidding on at the auction. Yeah, I know in California y'all do have it, like they have what is that softener UCC liens and stuff like that, and depending on where you live. So you just have to do your research, right? And you just got to make sure you buy the correct loan that gives you ownership, because if you buy the wrong lien, you can't do anything with that property. You can't sell it. You can't take ownership of it. You can't go inside of it if people live there. You just got to make sure you buy the correct one. I know a neighbor who didn't pay his water bills, and the water agency government foreclosed, and he lost his property. So yeah, and that depends on where you live, right? Whose liens take priority, right? HOA liens take priority. Your HOA can foreclose on you. We all know, like tax sales, your property taxes, they can foreclose on you. Of course, your primary mortgage, they can foreclose and take your property. Now, everybody can't foreclose and take your property, but that's the thing. But most people can foreclose to collect their money. That does not give everybody ownership, though. I'm reading, y'all. And we got to make sure that your state is a tax deed state, because in California, if you've been on a tax lien property, it's yours. So with tax liens, you have to be very careful as well, because a tax lien is just they give you that certificate, right? Like a tax lien sale. It's not the same as a tax deed sale in most cases. But does California even do tax liens? I swore California was on the list of, they might do tax liens. In Georgia, they got it to a year to redeem the property. Texas, I think it's 2 years. Here in Memphis, it depends on, we're talking about right of redemption. That means if you buy a property at auction, how long it takes, how long the owner has to come back and redeem the property is known as right of redemption. And it depends on what state you live in. You always have to check that, right? Because they can come back and redeem the property, and you will get a refund, right? And any fees, they will give you that. The homeowner has to pay that. But if you've done repairs and stuff like that, now you're not going to get that back. That's why people are like very cautious to do repairs until they have the deed in their hand. Because if they come back and redeem it and you've done repairs, you just screwed. You know what I mean? Like, you'll get the money you paid at the auction, but you won't get your repair money. Do tax deed, from my understanding. You buy it, yours. Yeah, tax deeds, for sure. California does tax deeds. I'm just not sure they do tax liens, tax lien sales. Y'all know the difference between, I did a master class on this like Thursday. It's up. But the different tax liens, you're bidding on a certificate and you can collect interest on it, and the homeowner can come back and reclaim their property, and you just get the interest that you paid. Tax deed, you're actually bidding on the property, right? So if you're the highest bidder on that, you get the property. Tax lien, you're just bidding on a lien. You don't have ownership until the redemption period is up on a tax lien sale. That's the difference. So due diligence, make sure the property's vacant. Drive by the property. There are always, I say this, there are signs most times, because I have walked up on properties that I thought was vacant and it was not vacant, right? And I mean, not that I walked up on it thinking it was vacant. Like, people have called me to help them in foreclosure. And when I pulled up to the house, if they hadn't called me, I would have thought their house was vacant just by driving by it, right? The grass is super high, house needs tons of repairs, things like that. So, but I'm saying in most cases, you can tell if a property is vacant. And I'm not going to say most. Some cases, right? That means you need to probably drive by several times, right? That's what I do. I'll drive by in the daytime, drive by early in the morning, drive by in the evening, see what kind of activity is going on. If it's evening, is it pitch black? Or maybe is the porch light on? Are there lights on? Right? Is the grass super high? Is the mailbox running over? Right? If it's a property that you really, really want, you might have to ask the neighbors. Like, when's the last time? I have done that before, right? When you're just sitting trying to see if somebody lives in this house. And if I see a neighbor coming out, you know, I try to come off as really nice and harmless. And I'm like, do you know if somebody lives here? And then usually they're like, nobody's been there in like 3 months, blah, 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 blah. You know, especially when you talk about spending your coins, right? If you gonna spend like 100,000, 200, I need all the information that I can get, right? Do your due diligence. Make sure, we talked about this on the live, on the tax sale. Make sure the house has a back of the house, right? Don't just drive by and assume, because there's properties could be burnt out in the back, you know, and when you bid at the auction, you have to factor in repairs, right? That's a big part of your maximum bid amount, so you know how much to bid, right? If it's a brand new house and you know repairs are only $10,000, you can bid a little bit more. But if it's a burnout, right, and you got to spend $40,000, you need to factor that into your maximum bid amount, if that makes sense. So you got to do your due diligence. Drive by, occupied, vacant, check out the neighborhood. If people live there, you need to anticipate. Hopefully they're nice. If not, you might be responsible for evicting them, going to court and doing those eviction fees, okay? Is your course, let's talk about other ways to get money for the auction other than wholesaling. Talk about other ways to get money for the auction. Like if you want to buy properties at the auction, wholesaling properties to stack your money and then go to the auction. I'm just making sure I'm reading that question correctly. Are there other ways to sell possibly the properties that you get that are in foreclosure? I'm just making sure I understand that. If that's what you're saying, you know, wholesaling is a great way. I know a husband and wife team. The husband's an investor and they, you know, bought the letters and all that, go through the process. And he like gets the properties. The one they don't want to keep, they give to her because she's a real estate agent and she can list the properties, right? So things like that. And trust me, y'all know the golden rule. Whoever has the gold makes the rule. And in real estate, the gold is the houses, right? If you've been in real estate, you also know the other saying, you've got to list to last, right? That means the people who have the listings will last the longest. If you have the listings, you will always have a buyer. Always. Whether it's a regular traditional buyer or an investor. If you got the houses, you always gonna have a buyer. You have no idea how many people email me, inbox me, text me, call me, right? And are like, Ashley, I buy properties. Let me know. If you got a foreclosure, I will help them. I will buy it from you. I said I'm going to start a buyer's list. That's what I'm going to do. And I share that list in the mentorship, right? Because they need to know who to sell properties to too if you don't want to keep them. But my point is, if you have the properties, it will not be hard to find a buyer. 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. I want to say as long as they didn't buy the property like in the last 3 years. Now you're struggling right there. If they bought it in the last 3 years and paid full price for it, it's hard to move those. Like those aren't even selling at the auction because the numbers don't make sense, right? And a lot of those are upside down right now. A lot of people who bought in the last 3 years, When they come to the auction, they're up. I post them all the time on my Instagram, on YouTube. The loan amount is higher than what the property is worth. So if you, but anything other like 4 or 5 years back, it's gonna sell, right? Most of those people have equity in their home and it will sell. It's just these three. It's these 20 post-COVID. Boom. Post-COVID properties aren't moving right now. The loan balance is too high, right? That's too high. But pre-COVID, basically, you can move those. An investor will pick them up if you get it at the right price. Yep. Especially at these prices, right? So, and everybody, that's what I keep telling you. It's so many people. It's a lot. Most people are struggling right now, like the most people, right? But there are people who have been saving and waiting for the market to downturn so they can pick up properties. There are people at the auction waiting. I mean, not even at the auction, just people waiting, right, to pick up properties because people see what's coming. Everybody sees the opportunity. The window is coming and are ready to bite. Trust me. But I was asking if there may be any loans, something other than wholesaling to save money for upcoming auctions. I heard, oh yeah, so DSCR loans, I'm not really familiar with them. I know a guy who was working with I think they're a hard money lender, but testing them out because they will give you cash to fund at the auction. Because at the auction, right, you gotta have cash. It's not like I'll wait for you to go, get a loan to go through, or you know what I mean. You can't go to the bank and then come back to me at the courthouse. So you actually have to have the complete amount of cash at the courthouse. But there is, and I'm getting more information. As soon as he emailed me yesterday and said they should be funded in the next 7 to 10 days. He's like, I'm going to let you know if it works out for my client. And I said, okay, keep me posted because it's so many people who want cash to go to the auction, right? So once I know, boom, I'm going to put y'all on. I promise. I read this. There was a post that says ROD is 2 years, but however, right of redemption. That's what you mean, right? But however, many Tennessee boroughs sign a deed of trust that waives the right of redemption. Can you confirm? So here in Tennessee, and I can't, like tax sales, it is right of redemption. And I tell people all the time, Tennessee, trustee sales, right? No right of redemption. If I auction off your property at the courthouse, you can't come back and get it. And that's what I try to put in people's minds. And people who deal with foreclosures, like people can be in denial, right? That's their first, and I get it. They're like, I can save it. I can come up with the money. I'm going to ask my sister. We're going to go to the church and try to get some money. And I'm like, I get that. I hear you. You need to talk to the mortgage company and see if they will postpone it. Because my point is, if I sell it, you can't get it back, right? So you've got to make a decision before your property goes up for auction. Whatever it is. If it's filing bankruptcy, whatever it is. And that's not like the first thing I push. And I know a lot of bankruptcy attorneys, no shade, because I know one, I've got a great friend that is one, are going to be gearing up. They are going to be, of course, they're going to be gearing up when foreclosures come, because bankruptcy is an option. If you do not want to sell, if you can't come up with the money and your auction is staring you in the face, you can file bankruptcy and it will stop an auction immediately. I have had plenty of auctions cancel with me standing at the courthouse and they call and say they just filed bankruptcy, auction is canceled. Happens all the time, right? But keep in mind, right, bankruptcy comes with a payment. And a lot of people forget that, right? But I get it. In that moment, they just need to stop the auction. But yes, no right of redemption. Tennessee trustee sales. Nope. Once I auction it, it is gone. That's what it is. Now, other states, it varies. It absolutely varies, right? went to 3 auctions. The same investment people attended. They were there watching and didn't bid. They shared with me on what types of property, commercial, they were interested in. I'm saying the auction is a great place. I had another mentee. She is out of Houston. Went to an auction, made friends. You know what I mean? And that's a great place. When you're like, do you need a buyer? Go to an auction. A lot of my buyers are my guys at the auction, right? Like, they were like, I'll text them and say, hey, you're interested in this house? And they were like, yeah, I was gonna bid on it anyway. I'm like, here we go. You can, so the auction is a great place. And once people know, if that's what you do, right, or if that's what you're trying to do, is become, if you were trying to work with foreclosures, you will always have a buyer. Always. If that price is right, you will always have one. And the auction is a great place to find buyers, right? And they got cash. So, and the auction is slow right now, right? They're canceling, postponing. We're coming up on the holiday season. They're probably not going to auction. They're going to put a moratorium on auctions in December. So it's slow. Like, all my bidders are like, Ashley, you got anything? You got anything like what's on the schedule, and do you have anything else, right? Or anything off market? Because they need properties, right? Most investors don't like sitting on a ton of cash in their bank account, right? I hear it all the time. They're like, I got too much money in the bank. I need to buy something. I need to spend it on something. Usually. So, trust me, if you get the houses, you're going to have a buyer. As long as the numbers work. That's basically what I was going to say. Okay, I was making sure. So, like a line of credit. You could, yeah. If you can get a line of credit, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. You can use that at the auction. Pull the cash out, use it from your line of credit, pull it out, and buy at the auction. Absolutely. So due diligence, I talked about driving by the property, morning, noon, night. Check for tenants. Is it occupied? A lot of that. And a lot of times, you guys, they'll be occupied because it's a lot of investors foreclosing on properties right now. It's a whole bunch of them sitting on properties, and they are losing them, right? So it'll be times where, like, it'll be a tenant in a property. I had a tenant reach out to me because she opened up the mail that came, and it showed that the house was in foreclosure, that she was renting. You know what I mean? So anyway, if you buy a house at the auction, it might be a tenant in there that has no idea that the house is going up for auction. And if you get lucky, maybe it'll be a tenant that's really been paying, and the homeowner just was not using it to pay the mortgage. So maybe you could get like a good tenant in a property. I don't feel like that happens very often, but it's possible. It could happen. You know what I mean? It could. Okay, this man is trying to sell this. That's why I do these lives, right? So you can come on here and ask me any question. We will dissect these properties together. Yeah. Yes, I've heard it. Y'all, I've told this story before, and because I don't advocate for rent to own properties, rent to own, lease to own. If you work in those, I'm sorry. No, if you work in those, not I'm sorry. It's just not my favorite. I don't recommend people do rent to own or anything like that. If you can't afford to buy it outright, just rent. Rent or buy. Don't do rent to own, right? Because I have seen a property go up for auction, right? The bidders, I'm at the courthouse all the time. Bidder was like, the property going up for Friday. It's a lady in the property. This is what the investor said. And he stopped because literally the lady was getting, I think, like floors put in the house, right? He stopped and talked to her and was like, the house is up for auction on Friday. And she was like, I did a rent to own, right? I've been paying, thinking I was going to eventually own it. She done getting floors put in the house, right? Thinking she's about to own the house, and it's going up for auction Friday. That's why I'm like, like, if it's either rent or buy it. Don't do that, because And then they want a huge deposit up front. Don't. Now, there probably are some good, legit companies. But I don't know. You just do your research. Look, if I'm going to do rent to own, I'm going to be like, give me the login to the mortgage information, so I know that you're paying this mortgage. Because, you know, when people run out of money, and it's between their primary mortgage and their rental property, their primary mortgage is going to get paid first. Your rental property, if you live in a rental, it might get paid. But they're always going to self-preservation first, right? They'll let their rental property go. Looking to move to Idaho from a high-cost state. Anything in Idaho. So I'm sure, I feel like in every state, you know what I mean? Like, there are foreclosures in every state. You know, you just have to know where to look. Many people paid in cash from Cali. You know, and Cali is a expensive state, right? Y'all are high out there. But y'all got foreclosures out there. For sure, the auction, I post LA, Alameda, is that how you say it? Alameda County, all the time. I think I just posted some this morning. They got a bunch going. San Diego, San Francisco, LA, Orange Beach, all of them. The big ones are going, you guys. If y'all follow me on Instagram or YouTube, the big, like, nice luxury houses are in foreclosure, right? A bunch of them are. So, y'all, ain't nobody safe. Ain't nobody safe. And don't think for 1 second that the only properties that go up for auction are in the hood, because that's not true. Maybe they foreclose in the gated community. Behind the gates, they foreclose, okay? They not paying the mortgage behind the gates. Do you think that mailing letters is easier than any other method of contact with? If it was in your course, just let me know and I'll look. Yes, it's a lot going on. Los Angeles. So everybody knows I've been mailing for the last 3 years. I've incorporated some other new marketing strategies that I love, because I'm not, and you ask anybody, they know, I don't door knock. I don't cold call, right? That's not what I do. I don't enjoy getting cursed out, right? I feel like but I know people who cold call. So if that's your thing, I know cold calling works. I know a lot of wholesalers that cold call and make $100,000 a month, right? Because they are pounding the pavement, they're mailing, they're calling, they're door knocking. When it comes to that, it's a numbers game. So the more you touch people or get in contact with them or communicate with them, you know, it is what it is. So I'm not knocking cold calling at all, right? I got people in my mentorship who cold call, right? That's just not what I just don't cold call, right? I don't door knock because I live in Memphis. I don't door knock in Memphis. But I mail. Like, I've been mailing for the last 2 years, have gotten great properties for myself and clients, right? Because I feel like letters, you call me, right? It's like I initiated it. If you are interested in what I have to say, you reach out to me, right? It's not me calling you and you like, stop calling me, take me off the list. Don't, you know, so when you call me, then I know, okay, you know what it is, right? I like that method, right? If my letter resonates you, if my other marketing methods resonate with you, then you reach back out to me, right? It's not me looking like I'm like harassing you, right? So that's what, I'm just like putting the line out there, and whatever fish catches, you know. That's my analogy, basically. Absolutely. Don't fall in love with properties coming up for auction. Just because you did a title search, you're absolutely right. When you go to the auction, you guys, you need to have more than one. Well, I mean, it depends on how many properties are going up. But do not fall in love. Do not fall in love. First of all, auction properties get postponed and canceled all day, every day. Postponed and canceled all day, every day. If your property gets postponed, just write down the postponement date and then look and see if it goes up again, right? But properties get postponed all the time. They get canceled. Keep in mind, people can file bankruptcy. People can sell, right? And that will cancel an auction, okay? People are postponed. They might be trying to do a modification. They might be trying to do a forbearance, right? Postponed does not mean cancel. Cancel means cancel. But I always see a whole bunch of properties that are canceled, they come back. A lot of people file bankruptcy, stay in bankruptcy a couple months, and then are back in foreclosure. They can't pay the bankruptcy payment and back in foreclosure. So, and what was my other point I was going to make? When I was reading that, it helped me. Are we coming up just because you did all the title? Yeah, I'm thinking another thing I was going to say. But postponed, canceled, try to find more than 1 or 2 properties, right? And being at the auction. One of my, Zandria, she's in my mentorship. She went to the auction, right? She took the auction accelerator course, was ready, went to the auction. She's in Atlanta. And I've told the story a million times. Got to the auction. She said the opening bid was like $27,000. She was like, I'm going to bid $50,000, right? I'm going to go up to $50,000. I said, okay, cool. So, of course, she calls me and she's like, Ashley, she was like, the first bid that they said, you know, they announced $27,000 opening bid. She said the first bidder was like $60,000. She was like, they knocked me out in the first, you know, and she was like, dang. And then that's how she ended up in the mentorship, because I'm like, maybe you need to go to the source, right? If the auction is just too, if you don't have the cash, if you can talk to the homeowners directly, that might be a better route for you. And then that's how she got like in the mentorship and started sending letters. Atlanta, like she is probably one of the best, not the best, has gotten the most responses in Atlanta of people calling her back, right? And she's a nurse. Like, she's not even a real estate agent. She's a nurse, right? And I think people just resonate with her. And they resonate with the letter that she sends. And she has gotten the most callbacks for homeowners. Yeah, and I kind of lost my train of thought. Anyway, but that's how properties will get bid up. That's my point. Don't get your heart set on a property, because you never know what other people's motivation is. They might be there to bid on their grandmama house, right? And they're going to pay all the money for it, right? And you're there just to buy it and flip it, and you have a budget. So don't get caught up in that, and don't get your heart set on anything, right? Okay, y'all, let me catch up because I'm missing comments. Okay, overbidding. I should have went to most. Got you, right. My husband just started, and he cold called, and this man cussed. See, I don't like getting cussed out, right? Once you cuss me out one time, that's going to ruin my mood, right? I'm a Sagittarius. You can't talk crazy to me, right? You just, you know what I mean? It don't have anything with being a Sagittarius. Most people just don't like getting cussed out, right? So I avoid that. I don't cold call. There are other methods besides direct mail that you can talk to these people. Yeah, it's just, But right, at least he answered, right? You're going to get a whole bunch of no's, but that one yes can cash you out, right? That one yes can, you get a great property. Like I said yesterday, my clients, the lady called me back, right? Sent her a letter on one property. Who knew she owned like 2 other properties? So she didn't want to sell the property that was in foreclosure. She was like, I want to sell this, which was a triplex. You guys, a triplex. At first she was like, I want $300,000 for it. I told this already. But she's like, I want $300,000 for it. By the time it got to auction day, we were down to 210. 210, right? And that property was worth well over probably $350. 210, right? So you can get great. Like, I feel like every investor that I have sold a pre-foreclosure to has made 6 figures, because the profit margins are just so big on pre-foreclosures, right? Unless they were bought post-COVID. But pre-COVID, you can get some, I'm telling you, right? And the homeowners get money. Like, I'm not one of these people who are like, there are some, I'm not going to say wholesalers that will take more money than the homeowner, right? I'm never like that. I am never like that. I feel like they definitely deserve all the money from their house, right? So I'm always fair on that part, right? I'm not like, and I've heard crazy stories from like attorneys and closing companies. They were like, if you could see the fees or the amount that people are getting, like wholesalers, no shade. If you're a wholesaler, no shade, none. I swear. Okay, let me catch up, y'all, because I can talk. I wish you could real estate mindset sexually because you have so much. I've watched both of those. I watched both of those. Saks Realty, my girl Melody was on there. That's how she got Melody Wright. Y'all follow her. She worked in the mortgages during the GFC, Great Financial Crash. Great, is that what GFC? Yeah, GFC, Great Financial Crash. Yeah, Melody Wright. Really good information, you guys, like about what happened back then and what's going on now. Like she still works in the mortgage companies. Like she visits sites, like builder sites. Melody Wright, she's on here. Y'all go follow her. I follow all of them. I look at the average household income relative home price. That is how I know the homes are overpriced. These prices are about to come down. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. I posted the numbers. Let's see if I can find it. 2 days ago. Let me see if I can find my post. Of the percentage of home price reductions. Right? If your house is on the market, the cities that have had the highest drop in home price reductions. Y'all know what that means when people start reducing prices. There goes equity. There goes equity, you guys. Because real estate, the good and the bad about real estate, your home value is based on the homes around you. So when they're up, they're up. And the bad thing about real estate is your home value is based on the homes around you. So if you overbid, and no shade, because I don't want y'all, I get post-COVID, interest rates were low, people bid up. But keep in mind, if you bid up, right, and now home prices are dropping, like if people, Jenny lose her job, and now Jack is like, we got to sell this house. You know, you might have paid $400,000, and Jenny like, we putting our house on the market for $375 because we struggling. Boom, your $400, Jenny, they start selling for $375, and then Mark, the next block over, is like, ooh, I'm gonna sell for $370, and then you know what happens? It kind of catch like wildfire, right? Then people are like, oh, sugar honey iced tea, everybody's selling, and our property values are steady. Let me jump out too, right? Because I don't want to lose. You know, that's all it takes is for home prices to start dropping, people start noticing, and then people start selling, right? Or enough people go into foreclosure and start putting their houses on the market. And you know, when you in foreclosure, you like, after a while, I mean, some people, my thought process is, I know in the beginning, a lot of people in foreclosure are like, I want the top of the market. But when you're in foreclosure and you're facing an auction, you're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to reduce this price all the way down, right? All the way. We're going to take what we can take. But everybody who just bought post-COVID, yeah, it's like, hold on. I just paid $400 for my house. Y'all can't sell for $375, $380. But they can, right? But they can. That's the thing. And then now your $400,000 loan that you have in your houses now, because everybody, 3 people have sold for $375, $370, $380. You see how quick you can be upside down on a house? Real quick. But because that's why you don't waive appraisals. That's why you do not waive an appraisal. Appraisals are put in place for a reason. But, you know, such is life. Okay, I'm checking. You don't have time on the phone to check to increase the bid. The auction goes fast. Go to the auction. Everybody knows that. I say that even if you don't have money. That just means don't open your mouth. Just go and see what goes on at the auction. You don't have to bid to go to an auction. Just go, right? Go, sit down, see how many people are there, see how quick it gets bid up. Here in Memphis, we usually go up by hundreds, right? They'll be like plus 100. If I'm like, opening bids 50,000. Most guys will be like plus 100. If it's a big property like an apartment complex, they'll be like, we're only going up by 100,000s. So it depends on the attorney if they want to set how bids, what increment they can go up. But typically, I don't know, like in Atlanta and Chicago, one of my mentees went to an auction in Chicago and she said it was like One room was tax sales. One room was like foreclosure sales. Like it was a whole bunch of stuff going on in like one place. So keep in mind, you could have people bid on your behalf. Like at the courthouse, I'm not the only auctioneer. And I always tell people that, right? I'm like, they're like, what do you have today? I'm like, just because I don't have anything today doesn't mean nothing is going. I have auctioned at the courthouse and it's another auctioneer standing 5 or 10 feet away from me, right? Auctioning off another property. So a lot of times people will bring a partner so they can bid on multiple properties at the same time. Or like I know the other auctioneer here, Matt, if he's auctioning and I'm auctioning at the same time, because a lot of times the guys will be bidding on both properties, right? So they trying to lean and be like plus 100 to me and bid on the other property. So usually we'll let the other person go. But that's not how, it could be, look, come next year, it might be 3 or 4 people auctioning at the same time. That goes back to my point. Go to an auction, right? See how many auctioneers are there. See how many auctions are going on at the same time in case you need to bring somebody, right? Like you do house 1 through 3, I'm going to get 4 through 6, right? People can bid on your behalf. It's a lot of people are on the phone, like represent hedge funds, and they're on the phone bidding all the time. So you can do that. But the point is, go. You just don't have to bid. They don't know if you only got $2 in your pocket. Nobody knows that, right? Just don't bid. Just don't open your mouth. Okay? So, another thing I want to say is a lot of times I'm at the courthouse, so I know most of my bidders. It's the same people. Same people. Been there for years. Every once in a while we'll get a new person. Same people. But a lot of times if I don't recognize the person, or if it's a big, like if I'm auctioning off an apartment building and the opening bid is like $5 or $6 million, right? The attorney will say, verify people's funds, right? So if they're bidding, but I only verify if they are bidding, like if they have registered to bid. I was trying to see if I had a bidder sheet right here. I do. Well, this is kind of like a bidder sheet. I don't know if y'all can see that. But, so, like, when people bid, I'll put, like, if I don't know their names, I know most of their names. But if it's a new person, I'll be like, Red Hat or something like that. And then I'll put their bids. But my point is, don't be offended if you go to an auction and you register, right, that you are going to bid and they ask to verify your funds, right? That means they just want to see you got the cashier's checks on you before they let you bid. If you do not register and you're just going to watch, you ain't going to show them nothing. They're not going to ask to see your money. You just be like, I'm here to watch, or you don't have to say anything, honestly. But go. That's my point. Find out where you have to park. Find out where the auction is, right? I always say this. Here in Shelby County, it's 6 entrances to the courthouse, right? You need to find out which one the auction's at, right? Auction.com is in a conference room in a hotel. You got to find out where the conference room is, right? So go. And then you'll know, like, okay, maybe I got to wait on auctions. It got bid up real quick. Or nobody was there. Because when nobody's at the auction and it's only one person there, they can get it for $1 over, right? You can get it. There's no reserve trustee sales at the courthouse. So if the opening bid, I'm auctioning off a house for $500, right? Nobody was there. I literally had to call one of the investors and was like, come to the courthouse and bring a cashier's check with you, right? $500. So nobody's there. They get it for $501. So if nobody's there, and you can go to the auction depending on where you live, you're like, okay, ain't nobody here. This might be a good place to pick up properties, right? But you need to go so you know. You know what I mean? And then you can go see who the auctioneer is. Because I've said this a million times, if you have watched my videos, most people don't expect to see me at the auction, right? Well, in the beginning, they didn't. Now, of course, they know. But when I go to other counties, like when I go to, they never think that I'm the auctioneer, right? They're always looking for like a guy in a suit. They never looking for me, right? but it's usually me, right? I've had people get mad because they didn't realize I was the auctioneer and they missed the auction. But I'm literally standing there. It's literally a group of guys around me bidding on properties. And they got mad. They were like, we didn't know that was the auction you were. No, you didn't think it was going to be me, right? You didn't think I was going to be the one auctioning out properties. So, that's the point. Go and see. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. Just go and see. And you might meet some buyers while you're there. I can talk. Like when I take a breath, I'm like, whew, I can really talk, right? Okay. I just saw you just said I'm a Scorpio. I know this is your season and it's about to be your season. You don't have time on the phone check to increase the bid. The auction goes fast. You're right. And don't get out there and start bidding. That just reminds me. You get out there, you see people bidding, and it's a house that you didn't know was going up, right? And if you're not familiar, don't be bidding on properties and you haven't seen it and it's like, ooh, I didn't even know that was, hold on. You're like, my phone is about to die. And you're like, I didn't even know that property was on the list. Let me bid on it, right? If that's not your life, that's not your life, okay? It is some seasoned investors who can be like, okay, what you got? They can look in their phone and be like, But 9 times out of 10, if they have not done the research or look at that title, even a seasoned investor is not going to bid if they haven't looked at a title, right? Okay. I'm jumping in here. Scorpio, my husband is a Leo. Sagittarius, my season is about to come up. My birthday is the 16th of next month. 210. Yes, 210. They have turned it into an Airbnb triplex. Yo, that was like, when that deal came through, I was like, do I want this property for myself? Great. To this, of course, my investors love me because, I'm like my own personal MLS, honestly, right? Like, people know that, right? But yeah, so they were renting out the lower one is like one full apartment and then 2 smaller apartments at top. The lower one is an Airbnb and they're renting out the 2 at the top. 210, y'all, 210. But yes, Melody, she's a wealth of knowledge. Like her interview she did with Saks Realty, and she's even said she's like the epicenter of the next foreclosure will be in Florida. She said San Antonio is going to get hit really hard. Texas is going to get really hard. Florida always gets hit really hard with foreclosures. Again, they have already overbuilt in Florida. Miami is on the list for October with the most foreclosures. Miami has been on the list several times. They do not talk about that on the news. Miami is just the hot spot. Jeff Bezos is moving to Miami. But Miami been getting hit with foreclosures. For sure. They made like the top 5 list for October for foreclosures. Y'all didn't hear that though. Melody right. Yes. See, I know. My dog Rex, how are you? How many used cars have equity? Houses are no different than used cars. You're right. You're absolutely. And if you pay at the top, I'm not going to talk about it. Never mind. I'm just not going to talk about it. December. Oh, mine's the 16th. I should have known. Hi there. Where do you get to pull up titles? So you got to go to your county records and deeds office. Like type in, I live in Shelby County, so ours is Shelby County records and deeds. Keep in mind, some of them make you pay. Like I think Nashville makes you pay. I think Atlanta makes you pay, right? Hear me. If you are going to bid on a property, right? And you are really like, after you've done your due diligence, driven by, done all the things, and you think you are going to bid on it, pay whatever that money is to look at the title, okay? You might need to go down to the county records and deeds. Here in Mississippi, I'm in Tennessee, but I auction in Mississippi. They still stuck in the 1930s, right? So they don't even have their stuff on like the computer yet, right? Y'all, I have to go down there and file the notice in Mississippi. So other places you can fax it in. They'll post it on their site, the foreclosure notice. Mississippi, I got to drive down there and go to their office and file it in their office. Like they still put up foreclosure notices like on the bulletin board. right? So just keep that in mind. But you always got to look at the title. If you don't know how to read title, if you don't want to take my course, pay somebody, right? Title companies can look at titles. Escrow title companies, they know how to read title. Now they're going to charge you. That's why you need to hurry up and try to teach yourself how to do it. But I would not bid on a property that I hadn't looked at the title. I'm telling you, there are people who have bought properties and can't do anything with them. There are people who bought properties and thought the property was still there and it was a pile of dirt. Right? That's why you got to drive by the property the night of. I don't care how many times it's been postponed. You still need to drive by that property. Right? Because the city will condemn it. And I will still auction it off. Because I'm not driving by properties. Right? They're just saying, Ashley, this is on your schedule today. And I'm like, okay. I'm not driving by properties. People are like, Ashley is attendance. I don't know. You guys, I'm trying to detangle this cord real quick before my phone dies. I don't know, right? If I don't, like I said yesterday, I don't get up there and be like, I'm auctioning off a second lien. I don't know, y'all. I just know it's on my schedule. I read the notice of sale and I auction it off. That is for people who bid at the auction for y'all to do your due diligence, right? That's why I got to teach y'all, because it's such good deals at the auction. You just have to do your research before you bid on them, okay? If you do your research, you can get great deals. I've auctioned off a couple of houses for $500. And I've asked this before, and y'all know the answer to this. If you buy a property for $500, what do you do with it, you guys? What do you do with the property that you buy for $500? I'm catching up. My little, here we go. I'm trying to untie this before my thing. $500 property, you pick it up at the auction. You do absolutely nothing with it, you guys. You flip it to an investor and move on. I told you I called one of my friends, and because y'all, the opening bid came out. I parked. I'm waiting on the opening bid to come out. I'm calling the office. I'm like, y'all, what's the opening bid? They're like, we're waiting. I'm walking up to the courthouse. No word. So nobody is there, right? Because no opening bid is out. You don't know how much money to bring. So nobody's there, right? I get to the courthouse. I'm chilling. They call me. They're like, okay, Ashley. They're like, you won't believe this, but the opening bid is $500. And I'm like, and nobody is here, right? Nobody is here. So I'm like, I'm not about to let this property go back to the bank, right? I know too many people. So I call one of my friends and I'm like, come bring me $501, right? And she did, right? She came up there, $501. Y'all, she didn't even look at that property. Didn't even look at it, right? Flipped it to another investor, I think, for like maybe $18,000, $19,000. And I mean, it was a rough property, right? In the hood, kind of rough. I think 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It don't matter. It was $500, right? She could have sold it for $5,000 and made $4,500, right? I think she sold it for $19,000 and made $18,500 and never looked at it, right? Didn't get keys because I don't give out keys, right? Soon as she got that deed, flipped it right to another investor. I know she was like, thank you, Ashley. Hold on, y'all. Let me plug this in. Okay, I'm here. I had to plug this in. So, I know. Y'all, I swear, when the property was announced for $500, I posted it on Facebook. And I was like, opening bid, $500. Y'all, Facebook was like, let me cash app you. Can I cash app you? I'm like, y'all, you got to be here to bid on the property, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, auctions, just hold tight. You can get some good deals. You can absolutely get some good deals. In these little small counties, don't nobody be at the auction. Nobody's at the auction. Even here in Shelby County, it's usually 5 or 6 people. Same people that have been here all the years. 4 or 5 people, 5 or 6 people. When I auction in Mississippi, it's like 1 or 2 people. Like, people just don't know. And that is the reason. Why is my phone not charging? That's the whole reason I even started. Ooh, my phone almost fell over. My phone isn't charging. Anyway, I better hope it doesn't die. That's the whole reason I started making YouTube videos, you guys, because nobody knew about auctions, right? Y'all don't know where to find them. Everybody's like, they say look in the paper. Y'all have no idea. If you ask the average person, most people on here, if I said, where do you find an auction? You probably like, If I said, what day is it? What time is it? Where are they located? What properties are going up? What time are the properties going up? Where do you find the opening bid? Most people cannot answer those questions, right? Most people just know that foreclosures go up for auction. Properties go up for auction. I heard at the courthouse. But most people cannot give you any details on when, where, what time. And then that's why I made my channel. That's why I started doing videos, because I'm like, it's such good deals, right? You just got to know where to find them and how to bid and how to buy. Me and my rant. Okay, you guys, California charge over $200 to get on the list of tax liens. They be coming up. Oh, they charge you to get on the list? I know. So the tax course that I did on Thursday, do they charge you? But I guess, doesn't it go towards the bid? You know, I don't do tax sales, so I'm just not really familiar with, because, you know, we don't pay. You don't pay to come bid at the courthouse. So tax liens, I know how they work, right? I know where to find them, but I don't know, like Miami, it's like lienhub.com. Georgia, it's like GST. Here in Memphis, it's civicsource.com. But I just don't know, like, that. I know you have to register. I know you have to do all that, but I just don't know the process when it comes to tax liens, just because I don't do them. Y'all, I need to put it in. So, you know, I had a live going, and then it froze up, so I had to come into this live. I had all the links up. You guys, I'll put the links back up again. I really don't want to pull up my computer because it might glitch, right? The Wi-Fi. You know, I got to pray for a strong Wi-Fi signal. But I'll put the links below. I'll also put, like, my newsletter, you guys. Sign up for my newsletter. I only put it out twice a month, right? Twice a month. I send you real estate information, distressed real estate. I only work the distressed side. It's enough people who work the regular side. No shade. It's just enough people. Like, you know how to get those numbers. How many houses are for sale. You already know that. It's the foreclosures and the auctions and stuff like that that people don't really talk about. Because, I mean, there's not going to be any foreclosures. Like, who's going to foreclose? The market's so good. Everybody's got a job. We also have stimulus money, right? And that's what they say. That's what the news says. Everybody's happy. I was going to tell you the price drops. I just jump all over conversations, you guys. Top 10 cities with home price drops. If you're on the market with the biggest price reduction, basically the top 10 cities. Number 1 is Indianapolis. 50% of the homes on the market have had a price reduction. Okay? Denver, 47%. Salt Lake City, 43%. Portland, 43%. Boise, 42%. Keep in mind, when people start reducing home prices, there goes equity, there goes home value. If they start selling, right, you reduce your price. I already talked about it. That's how equity goes down. Indianapolis, 50% of the homes on the market have had a price reduction. I'm sure wherever you live, Memphis, the builders are reducing prices. Everybody's got price reductions. Okay, so Boise was number 5. Winter Garden, in that Florida, 41%. San Antonio, 40% of houses. Sacramento, 39%. Austin, 39%. And number 10, Carlsbad, 37% of properties on the market have had a price reduction. Y'all, that's where equity and home values go down. When people start reducing and then they start selling, there go your price reduction. There goes your home values. We'll see. We'll see. That's what I'm saying. Hold tight. If you're thinking about buying, if you're thinking about buying on the market, hold tight. Hold tight. That's what I always say. That's what I keep saying. That's what I keep telling everybody. Hold tight. I know this is Black Friday. I know this is holiday shopping, you guys. But next year, the next 2 to 4 years, you know, it's going to be a lag. It's always a lag when they start raising interest rates. It's a lag until the economy starts seeing it. Get your credit right. Get your credit right. Stack some money. Don't feel like you have to have a ton of money, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying just get your house in order. Govern yourselves accordingly, right? Because if homes start going back to the bank, banks need to get off of them. You will be in a position to buy. Again, like I said last night, most people will not be in a position to buy. Most people right now are not in a position to buy, right? So when the window of opportunity comes, most people's credit cards are going to be maxed out. They already maxed out now. They won't have any money in the bank, right? They won't be ready. If unemployment jumps up, they won't be ready to take advantage of the opportunity. So that's why we're just holding tight. That's why I tell everybody, just hold tight. Unless you can get like a killer deal. Unless you get like a pre-foreclosure, right? And it's a huge... And if you are buying a house, I tell anybody, if you have to buy a house right now, negotiate. Negotiate, 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 right? I ain't paying full price for anything right now. I don't care if they have reduced the price. You're going to reduce it again, right? If my client wants it, you're going to reduce it again. I wouldn't pay full price for anything on the market right now. I just wouldn't. And those are for people who have to buy, right? If you got to move, sell, don't. You better, I'm not paying full price for anything. Not on the market, not with the bank. We negotiate everything, right? Ask for everything. If you are buying, ask for everything, right? And you just say, I don't mean to offend you, right? This is not to offend your client. This is not to, but look, the way this market going in the last 3 months, home values are doing this. It's not in my best interest to pay full price for anything right now. Because I'll be the one paying the mortgage. I'll be the one upside down, right? Negotiate. That's all I'm saying. And if you can hold tight, hold tight. Because the window is opening, I promise. Most people aren't talking about it. Market is still good. I see NAR's chief executive officer on LinkedIn. I was going to say lying, but it's not really nice to call. Like for one adult to call another adult say that they're lying. All I'm going to say is I see his post talking about interest rates are going to go down. We can expect interest rate cuts in the next couple of months. Mortgage applications are up. Y'all, a lie don't care who tell it, right? And I mean, almost like 2 seconds from hopping on his post on LinkedIn and being like, a lie don't care who tell it. But I don't want to say that because I don't want to be the petty Betty, right? But I get like this close to saying stuff, because it's just not the truth. Like, nobody has said that rates are going to get cut. Nobody, right? Not Jerome, and that's who we need to listen to. Jerome or Jamie, neither one of them has said rates are going to get cut, right? Y'all, it's some people predicting, and I wouldn't be, I hope, you guys, there's some people saying rates are going to go up to double digits, right? I'm not there. I'm not on that bus, right? Do I think they'll raise the rates again? Yep, I'm on that bus. Do I think they're going to keep the rates higher for longer? Yep, I'm on that bus. And why? Because that's what Jerome said, right? Like, I'm not watching. I watch every time he gets up and has a Fed meeting. I watch every single one of them, right? Jerome has yet to mention rate cuts. He has not said that, right? So every time NAR's chief executive officer gets on LinkedIn talking about we can expect rate cuts, who said that? He's never said that, right? Don't put that out there and have people thinking, okay, let me buy because they're going to buy because the rates are going to go down. He's literally never said that, right? So do I think rates are going to stay where they are? Yep. Is there a chance that they might go up a little higher? Yep. So, it's going to get rough, but of course it's a lag. Like with the last recession, the market crashed in '08, we didn't see foreclosures, the peak of foreclosures, until '09, 2010 is when the peak of foreclosures hit. So even if the wave comes, right, it's gonna come in waves, right? So, but there will be opportunities. That's the thing. There will be opportunities for people who are ready, right? So don't go buy you a flat screen TV on Friday, right? You don't need another flat screen TV, okay? Macy's has a 1-day sale every single day, right? Literally, every single day they have a 1-day sale. So don't go buy flat screen TVs. Don't go crazy for Christmas, you guys. Your kids don't even play with the toys, right? Like, what toys are your kids still playing with from Christmas, right? Unless you bought them a game or some shoes, these kids don't be playing with them toys. They play with them like the first weekend from Christmas. Look around, and that's why I had to stop too, right? They play with like one toy, right? Be like, look, you're gonna get 2 games and some shoes and some books. That's what you need to be buying them, some books and some puzzles, right? And I'm gonna open you up this checking account or something like that, right? But you guys, and I had to check myself when my kid asked for a toy that she already had in the closet, and I was like, oh, okay, we doing too much over here. So now it's like, what's your top 3 or top 4? Because, I mean, they don't play with them. So don't go crazy. Don't run up these credit cards. Don't do it, right? Pay them down. Just tell everybody, look, y'all gonna get a hug and a smile for Christmas this year, right? Because I'm trying to build this future. I need to expand my real estate portfolio, right? You get a Coke and a smile this year, right? And a hug. A hug and a smile is your Christmas present, right? So that's all I'm saying. Hold tight. Hold tight. Don't overspend. Don't go crazy on Black Friday. I don't expect to see anybody on this live up at 5 o'clock in the morning breaking down the doors of Walmart. Okay? Don't do it. I guess we don't break down doors at Walmart anymore. You just get on Amazon and buy everything, right? That's what goes. You don't go to the stores. But anyway, my point is, pay your credit cards down. Get in a position where you are able to buy, right? Because when the opportunity opens, don't be the one being like, dang, I should have done it. Like back in 2006, most of us were not even able to capitalize off of 2006, right? So this might be the next big thing for our generation. So just make sure you govern yourselves accordingly. Isn't that what they say in church? So govern yourselves accordingly, right? You know if you need to pay your credit cards down, right? And it doesn't mean you need a lot of cash, right? You don't have to have a lot of cash. When opportunities come, like if houses are cheap enough, you could still get a loan, right? You just might need 3% or 3.5% or 5%, right? Like there will be opportunities even for creative financing, right? Just make sure you're ready when it happens. Don't be the one hearing about it. Be the one talking about it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Do it. Pay your stuff. I'm telling you. That is my game plan. I do not care, right? Like, people will call me, well, I mean, you're going to call me crazy now because, I mean, I see the foreclosure numbers. That's why I always post, right? That's why I always share with people. I'm the dark side of real estate. When people are like, everything's fine. Mortgage rates are plunging. People are buying houses. And then here Ashley comes. Here I come. Boise with 40% price drops. Miami with all the foreclosures. I'm like, look, pick a side, pick a side. That's all I'm saying. I gotta give me a foreclosure. I'm telling you, that's everybody's plan, right? I had a guy who's coming into the mentorship from Miami, and I was like, you gonna find my retirement beach house. Y'all know that's the goal. Retire on the beach with a foreclosure. I ain't paying full price. I mean, at this point, I don't pay full price for anything. I would never pay full price for anything. Not a property, not a house, right? No, never. That's kind of why I'm on the investment side, right? Because sometimes buyers are just, I used to always work with buyers, residential, regular, traditional mortgage side. But, you know, it's hard to tell somebody, like, look, I know you love this kitchen and this bathroom, but these numbers just don't make sense. And in 6 months, this house is not going to be worth this, right? Like, you know, most people don't get that. Me, I'm attached to nothing. I'm not attached to anything. I would literally buy a house, buy a foreclosure, fix it up, make it beautiful, move all my stuff in, my phone, move all my furniture in, unpack every single thing, put pictures up, and if somebody brought me the right offer, I would take all those pictures back down, pack all my stuff back up, and leave. For the right price. I'm not attached. That's what I always say, right? Like, yeah, I can make anything pretty. I can paint the walls amazing gray. I can make the floors a dark brown. I'm not attached to it. For the right price, you can get it. If I unpacked every single bag, I will pack it all back up, right? But that's just me. That's how I look at investment properties, because that's what it is. It's an investment, right? Zero debt since 2010. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. You are one. You want to call Sally Mae and take on my debt, my dog Rex? Because y'all know how I feel about Sally and May. Pay your stuff off. It's not easy. It's hard. It does take discipline. You'd so much rather spend that money on something else. But you know, maybe when you get that letter in the mail that says you have made your last car payment, you're like, thank you. Like those are adult blessings, right? Those are things like as an adult, you're like, yes, I made my last car payment. You know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, you're like, I just bought the latest. But as an adult, you're like, I just paid my last car payment. Won't he do it? You know, those are adult happy moments. That's your message. Talk about some dim helpers. How frequent can one get ripped off on your first real estate investment purchase? I mean, all real estate investments have risk, right? You guys, I gotta wrap this up because I bet my phone is about to die. And I've already been talking 87 minutes. Like, y'all, this is like literally like the Marvel movie, right? The Marvel movie was like 80 minutes. Y'all, I've been on here a whole movie. Probably been on here as long as The Big Short. The Big Short, 99 Homes, and Inside Job. Watch those movies. The Big Short, 99 Homes. They use a lot of profanity, so don't watch it around kids. And The Inside Job. Watch all three of those. They all talk about the last housing market crash. Watch all of those. Investment properties all come with risk. That's why I'm saying do your due diligence. Run those numbers, run those numbers, run those numbers. Look at, if you're going to flip it, make sure you know what the market is looking like, right? Like, run the comps, see what's selling, right? Don't always take Zillow's word. Like, Realtor is more reliable than Zillow. Realtor pulls from more MLSs than Zillow. I think Realtor pulls from the most MLSs, right? If you don't have an agent that can give you the numbers, run the numbers, see what the market is doing, see how quickly numbers are. Yes, The Inside Job. It pisses me off every time I watch that movie, but I love it. It just pisses me off. You know, it just depends on what the game is. What's the long-term game? You buying, flipping, buying rent cash flow versus capital gains. You're going to do the BRRRR method, right? A lot of people are saying, you know, hold tight till next year. I think they're going to try to do that BRRRR method. Even jump in if you can get a great price, even if interest rates are 8%. You just wait till they come down, refinance, pull that cash out, buy another property, do it again. I've heard that is a lot of people's method. If you don't understand, I'll have to do it more in depth to talk about that. Redfin is good. Just keep that in mind when you look at different platforms. Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, they all pull. So they pull from a lot, but Zillow does not pull from all the MLSs. Okay, so when they put out reports and percentages, keep in mind they don't have an accurate picture, right? Because they're not pulling from everybody's MLS. So then when they report houses sold, houses on the market, price reductions, their numbers might look different from Realtor and Redfin because they're not all pulling from the same, you know, some are the same, but Realtor is pulling from more than Zillow. How can you tell if an agent is lying if they own the property you're trying to buy? You can look on the, like even looking at the deed, right? Looking at county records and seeing what they're, and agents do have to disclose, right? If they're the owner agent, usually they disclose. Look on the county record and deeds, right? And see if their name pops up. Now, if they're own it as an LLC, you might not can see, but they should disclose like that in the contract that they are the owner and they have an interest in the property, right? They should disclose all of that, and their name should be on the contract, right? If they're using their government name, unless they're using the LLC, but you should be able to look at the contract and see, right? Absolutely. Should comps be within a 5-mile radius? I would, or closer. You know, that's what an appraiser is going to look at, and you always look at sold. Now my phone is going to cut off in a second. Look at sold. Don't look at active, right? Home sellers on the market that can be delusional. You know, they're like, well, it's a house on the market for $400. It's active. That does not count. Look at sold properties. Appraisers look at sold properties. Nobody cares about active, right? Because most people are overpriced. Look at what's sold, right? I would go back and look the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Let's see how much the prices have decreased. I just read to y'all 50% price drop in Indianapolis, right? See how quickly these prices are coming down and then make your offer according to that. Just make sure you got an agent that can back up. Like, if I lowball you, right, I'm going to be able to back it up, right? You can't send over a lowball offer and expect the seller not to be offended, right? If I send over a lowball offer, I'm going to back it up. Like, hey, this house sold, $29.78 sold, $35 blah 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 sold. It was comparable to you. Prices have dropped steadily 5% in the last 30 days, 60 days. This is why I'm offering this offer, right? You got to be able to back it up, right? But negotiate. Negotiate. Find the closest comps you can find. If 5 miles is the closest comp, I usually try to do like a mile or half a mile. But if nothing is sold, that's kind of hard, right? But just look at what an appraiser would look at, okay? Which is usually half a mile, square footage, you know, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. Does it have a garage, carport, fence, all the things that would give you value on a property, right? Negotiate, you guys. It's your money. It's going to be your house. It's going to be your responsibility. Negotiate. I do not care anything about offending people when it comes to my money, right? The house is $300. Hey, I'm going to try to get it for $275. I'm going to try to get it for $265 and meet me somewhere. It is what it is. If you say no, okay, I'm going to let you sit for another week, and then I'm going to bring you this offer again, right? Because if you were at the right price, you probably would have already sold. Is buying investment property in a small town a concern under $20,000? I mean, I think it all depends on what's going on in that market. Are they selling? Are people moving there? You know, maybe it won't be a bad thing. Maybe people stay longer. Maybe they hold their value longer. You know what I mean? I think you just have to look at it now. Are people moving from the town, right? Are people losing their jobs? Are jobs moving out of that? You know what I mean? Look at all of those factors, right? But is the price good? Is it a good price? If you're renting it out, does the rent cover your mortgage and then you get some profit? Are prices going? You know what I mean? Like, it all depends on, it's a lot of factors that you've got to factor in when we're talking about investment properties. My voice is leaving. Y'all know after a certain time, like, my voice goes away. I turn into, like, I guess, like a werewolf after, like, 9 o'clock because my voice starts leaving. It's probably because I talk so much. You know what I mean? What am I missing? Should comps be within? Comps. Look at comps. And not just recent comps. Like, over 30, 60, 90 days to catch these price drops. Like, the condition of the property. Look at all of those things, right? What kind of repairs does it need? Look at all that. Look at all that. What is the rent? If you're going to rent, check and see how much the houses around it are renting for, right? To make sure your number's going to be right, right? Ask them, how much is your utility bill each month? How much are you paying for, what do y'all have to pay for? Here in Memphis, we pay for all of it together. we getting scammed in Memphis. We got to pay for light, gas, and water all together, right? And we only got one company that we can pay for it from. We getting scammed. But ask these questions. How much, like, so you can factor in how much, you know, you're going to be paying each month to make sure those numbers make sense, right? See how much your insurance is going to be. Call and get them to run your insurance numbers. Do all of that. So numbers on the calculator are just part of the story. Yes, just part. Make sure those numbers are right. Drive by, and negotiate. Negotiate. Nobody should be paying full price for anything. Unless it's like a great deal, right? Unless it's like a off market. You know what I mean? If it's on market, that's what I need to say. If it's on market, don't pay full price. Period. If you're a real estate agent, I'm a real estate agent. Don't pay full price for anything on the market right now. I know there are pockets in the country that are still getting bid up, right? I get that. But the majority of the country is price reducing right now. If it's on the market, don't pay full price for it. I don't care. I don't care what your agent says either. Don't pay full price. Ask for closing. Ask for repairs. Ask for a home warranty. Ask for everything that you want. Period. What's the best way to get to the seller to pay for closing costs? I mean, are you talking directly to the seller or are you going through an agent? My phone is about to cut off, you guys. It literally, like, it's this much. It's this much. So if it hangs up, you guys, if it hangs up, real quick, don't forget to subscribe. I will be back tomorrow, 8 o'clock, if it hangs up, okay? Ask for it. This is your house. This is your, look, I'm talking to you like you're my mentee or something. Ask for it. Do not be afraid to ask for anything that involves your coins, okay? I don't care. And you can say, hey, I'm not trying to offend you, but I watch the news. I read articles. I see what's going on. This is what I want. I want you to pay these closing costs. And they might say, hey, I'm not going to pay all of it, but I'll pay half of it. I'm not going to do this, but I'll do this. That's what I'm saying. Ask for it, right? I'll knock off $25,000, $30,000 off a price. Tell me no, but give me another answer, right? And we'll see if you get to where I want to be. If not, I'll wait and circle back around, okay? But I will be here tomorrow. I'll put all the links below, you guys, or go to my old video and all the links are over there. I'll put the mentorship, the auction accelerator, the newsletter links, all of them will be up. I'll have like 3 people who are training in the mentorship. I got to talk to them. Going through a lawsuit right now. Yeah, I already know. I don't even talk about NARS. Like, I have not been a part of the board in so long. Like, that was just never mine. I told you I'm a Sagittarius, so we kind of like rebellious. Like, I've never been a part of the board. I just have not. I've just done my own thing as a real estate agent. I was a part of the board when I first started. Yeah, but I've been in real estate like 16 years. So I see the thing with NAR. I see it. It is a lot for agents. You guys. I don't know, you guys. Like, I'm just going to leave that alone. Okay. I'm just going to leave that alone, right? I work on this other side of the market. I work on the investment side. Like, that's all I can say. That's all I can say. But I will be back tomorrow, 8 o'clock. My normal day, Sundays, you guys, and we can talk some more. I'll put all the links below. The mentorship is open. You guys, we meet weekly. I do one-on-ones. Y'all have been hitting me up about that mentorship. It works everywhere. It works wherever I work with you to find the foreclosures, to get to them, how to talk to them, how to market to them, all of the things. So I will put it below. It worked. My guy told you, Rudy, he's in New York. He's in my mentorship. So I'll put all the links below. And I will be back tomorrow, you guys. 99 minutes. My phone is about to hang off. Go watch The Big Short, 99 Homes. They curse, so don't watch in front of kids. And The Inside Job, right? They should all be on like Amazon Prime, things like that. I think HBO Max, Netflix. Go watch them. Go watch them. Okay, you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We hit 10,000 on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Instagram, Your Agent Ashley. Email me, youragentashley@gmail.com. There we go. There we go. Night 2, you guys. Night 2. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to get off. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome for all the information, you guys. I'm trying to make sure we got to buy our way out. Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save us. So, okay, you guys. I'm hanging up. I'm hanging up. I will see you tomorrow. Okay? Adios. Look, I can't even press the button.